Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of November 11th, 2021.
Happy Remembrance Day if you're in Canada.
Yeah. The current character challenge is for Green Lantern Red Sun. Sorry, I almost gave a whole entirely new one because it's either Green Lantern Red Sun or Red Sun Green Lantern.
It's actually both, I think, because in the title of the challenge page it says Green Lantern Red Sun. In the title of the title page that flashes through, it also says Green Lantern Red Sun, but then in the subtitle it says Win Gold Red Sun Green Lantern for a limited time. So in my mind that means it's both versions are
I like
correct.
Universe first, so I like saying Red Sun Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But that's a 1 week repeat, and the required characters for that are Lex Luthor, Joker, and Catwoman, who are bronze, silver, and bronze respectively. So you can't be brand new, but you can't be brand new anyways to complete the challenge. If you have enough gold cards to beat the challenge, you probably already have these characters somewhere in your roster.
Yeah. Easy to get.
Yeah, and his passive is Red Sun Energy Armor, which is Red Sun characters on Green Lantern's team take 20% less special damage and are immune to stun and crit. He's got 850 attack and 1,150 health. He was last available on the 14th of January 2021, so it's been most of a year, but not quite a full year. Not too bad.
His stats are relatively low, which is representative of the fact that he was introduced relatively early. And bit of history here, he was the one that broke the game for a lot of people because in iOS, who got the challenge before Android did, there were people who were banned for using him online. Yeah,
because he wasn't taken off the ban list for auto-banning.
It's interesting. I like the look of the character. I don't comment usually on the model design, but I like that the visual touch to show that the passive is active for his teammates.
For the armor,
that glowing green armor.
It's pretty cool.
The first part of his passive is decent. 20% reduction in special damage is always a little bit helpful, but it's that immunity to stun and immunity to crit chance. To me, that's like two more abilities, right?
Yeah, because immune to stun and crit. Well, the crit is really the biggest one.
Right.
But stun also helps for stuff like, Batgirl, right?
Or Luchador Bane.
Yeah.
Actually, it helps less than you'd think with Batgirl because it's part of her special. So I think it actually triggers a bit. But it feels like it's a lot less because it doesn't crit.
Yeah, and the reduction in specials.
Right.
So this basically is like a Tantu Totem, not killer, but like really annoyer.
Right. I mean, so there was a time when Luchador Bane was really the one guy you didn't want to face because you had no control over it. He tagged in, he would stun and then do crit boosted damage that would splash over the rest of your team.
Yeah.
And this team is a perfect counter for that. I mean, there are other counters to Cloak of Destiny. And I guess it's not so much the fact that you're stunned, it's that you have boosted stun damage. So that's Necron Scythe too.
Yeah.
But I think the only other sort of counter, I guess, would be a Blackest Night team that has the immunity to block break. So I think actually, never mind. It is one ability. I think animated Batman Beyond. No, not animated Batman. Batman Beyond, the original one, the one that looks funny but is sort of humanoid, is the one that has immunity stunned. So, I mean, again, it's basically three abilities, all really, really good. But the biggest difference is because in the world with augmentations, you've got all that boosted crit damage that really makes fights go faster.
Yeah.
Slows it down. Great defensive ability means that you've got a better chance of winning. It may not be the fastest team, but it means your team is really good. What else is there? I think that's really it. The main vulnerability, I think, is you mentioned it in a different context, but Batgirl still stuns. But again, any team that's facing them almost invariably relies on boosted crit damage and crit chance.
Yeah.
And that completely negates it. So really tough to face. Not that great as an offensive team to play unless maybe you're early in the game, you don't have a lot of gears. It helps you a lot because it means that you're not particularly vulnerable to any kind of team.
Yeah, it's a good team to play if you lose sometimes because it makes it hard to lose.
Right.
But it's not a great team if you're trying to get as fast as possible because it's a purely defensive passive.
And I think if you're going to be playing a Red Sun team, you have to have Green Lantern, which means of the other two slots, Red Sun Wonder Woman is important for her power generation boost. And then the third slot could either be Red Sun Batman to take advantage of unblockable specials, with all that power you're getting, or Red Sun Superman for the basic damage boost. So I think in the current meta, relying on specials and by extension unblocked specials makes the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the other Red Sun characters are nearly as good as that particular kind of team.
No. So this is the 34th week in a row of the sort of challenge character pattern that hasn't been a full loop yet, right? But is maybe going to be in not too long.
Yeah, we're going to run out at some point when it does complete its original run and it sort of
either loops or doesn't.
Either loops or doesn't, and if it loops, then we'll be missing a bunch of challenge characters.
Yeah. So if the pattern holds, we expect Arkham Knight next week, and then Blackest Night Batman 2 weeks from now. So two Batmen in a row. Batmans. This week's multiplayer reward is Blackest Night Flash, and his passive is Black Flash, which is when resurrected, Blackest Night Flash returns with 100% health. Basic attacks against the Flash have a 10% chance to miss and leave the attacker open to counterattack, and instead of taking damage, all Blackest Night teammates gain health and power from enemy damage over time. He's got 1,500 attack and 1,300 health. He was last available on the 8th of April, 2021. So this is 14th in a row of the sort of repeated cycle, starting from the top for this, and it's the 45th week in a row of it being uninterrupted in the cycle.
Right.
So that's what we're working with here, and next week we expect Ibistic. Right. So he's good. He's got high base stats. He's
the highest,
fast,
I think. Yeah.
Because he's the Flash, so he's fun to play.
Right.
And
he's got 3 elements to his passive, and they're actually laid out really nicely. So each of them, I think, would be good enough for any other gold card.
Yeah.
So if we look at Resurrections, and I think the most common one, or the ones that are relevant are, say, with Fourth World Gear Set, Necron Scythe, and Blackest Night Hawkgirl as a teammate. Typically, they only give you a portion of the health, right? So the Fourth World, when it's maxed out, gives you 31%.
Yeah.
Necron Scythe, 65%, and Blackest Night Hawkgirl, 20%.
Mm-hmm.
And with the right setup, so that means 2 Fourth World Gears, Necron Scythe, so that's all 3 gear slots, plus Blackest Night Hawkgirl as a teammate. He resurrects with full power, or full health, 3 times.
Yeah, which is good.
Right. And because that extra boost in terms of health, you're actually boosting it an extra 184% of his health pool just from his passive.
Yeah, and he's working with a total of 400% health. So, you look at Pickle Suit, known by some people as Containment Suit Doomsday.
Right.
And that's sort of easier because it doesn't require any other characters and it doesn't require any other gear. But it's also less flexible. There's not as much you can do to make it sort of even better.
Right.
Whereas here, if you have it all maxed out, you kind of have a ridiculous amount of health, which is great to have on, a Flash, who tends to be fast and pretty good at dealing damage naturally.
So the problem you might say with this is that you're using up 3 gear slots to resurrect so many times, which is a defensive ability. You're basically limiting his offensive output because, how long do you need him to live if he isn't doing much damage? But there are options. And a non-intuitive option for some people might be to use New 52 Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. She'd be an amazing teammate, even though she's not Blackest Night. Gives him plenty of power without him actually having to do anything for it.
Yeah.
And he's got other passive abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So whiffing on basic attacks seems like it's a defensive ability. And it's not, unique. I think... Gaslight Batman does that too.
Yeah, but it lets you hit them back. It lets you counter them. So more important than not getting hit is actually opening them up to getting hit.
Right. And so I'm looking at the numbers, and it just occurred to me now to think about it. It's only 10% chance of whiffing, but that's 10% on
every
each hit. So if it's a 3-hit swipe combo, that means there's about somewhere around a 72% chance that they'll hit, but that means it's like a 28% chance, like almost a third. Mm-hmm. That it'll miss, and with a 4-hit combo, tap combo, if you get the combo ender, then it jumps up to
higher than that.
Yeah, whatever. It just gets better. So it triggers often enough that you could plan around it. And then there's that last part of his passive where it makes it even easier to take advantage of him using up all gear slots for resurrections.
Yeah.
It'd be enough that he was immune to damage over time.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they get health from damage over time and the power generation, right?
Yeah.
It puts him right over the top.
And I think the last thing, too, is that you don't even need to use all the gear to give him resurrects if you don't want to. Right? I mean, having a teammate, a Blackest Night teammate, is pretty, for Black Knight Hawkgirl, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, good synergy anyways.
Yeah.
Right? But you can actually use his gear to make him better offensively if you want to do that. And you get to pick the balance, right? Basically, you have to play with it a little bit and see how often you actually need that sort of last resurrect, or even those last two potentially. Maybe just 200% health is still, you know, going to be enough for you.
You could get 2 gear slots. It's expensive to get a resurrection with 2 gear slots out of the fourth world gears.
Yeah.
So 2 gear slots to make him offensive, give up 1 resurrection. That's not bad. I'll take it.
So there's trade-offs that you can make with that, but I think if you're playing him defensively, maybe giving him all the resurrects is better, just to make it like more chances for your opponent to mess up.
Right.
And it's hard for the AI to really drill down and do a lot of offense anyways.
Right.
But if you're playing offensively with him, you can probably actually trade out and get more offensive potential and swap out a revive. Anyways, getting into the store and going a little bit faster here because we're talking a lot.
Yeah, we're pretty much
the Arkham Knight Challenge Pack is 200,000 credits. It gives you a 6.16% chance instead of a 2.86% chance of getting the Arkham Knight. It's almost certainly what next week's challenge is, because we have 2 independent ways of guessing that.
Right.
We also have the character bundle Suicide Squad for 25 Canadian, $24.99, and it was $18.99 Canadian on the 17th of December 2020. So they're really gouging us with this one.
Yeah.
And it comes with Suicide Squad Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad the Joker, and then you get 2 random gears out of a list of 5. And so there's both of their signature gears, and there's a 35% chance of each of those, and then there's all 3 Suicide Squad companion gears and a 10% chance of each of those.
Right.
And that adds up to 100.
Yep.
We also have the Justice League pack that's been hanging around for another week, so we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
And the Most Wanted pack, which has been around for a long time.
This is the 5th week, which is unusual, so we'll see what happens with that.
We've got the Shazam Celebration pack in the Nth Metal pack rotation, which we, again, talk about a lot.
Probably the first of 2 weeks if it's following a previous pattern.
Yeah, and in our Survivor, we have the LexCorp gear set until the 17th of November, 2021.
Right.
Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Breakthrough, we just saw Raven, Superman, and the Arkham Knight, and so we expect to see Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, and Martian Manhunter.
For this weekend's gold.
Yeah, for this weekend. And a link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 to see the complete Breakthrough cycle yourself. There's a dog who wants to get in on our filming.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Current glitches. Remember, every working glitch is explained in a video as part of the playlist of all the tutorials that we've got. Click on the eye in the top right corner. We are Android only, specifically Android 9, so we can only confirm and test those, but we'll have some comments about other operating systems.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. Starting off with not working glitches, stuff that you might want to do but you can't. There's nothing for power credits that we're willing to endorse and that we're sure works. Season 6, Episode 9 of our P and Q and C and A and T talks about that glitch and why we don't endorse it in more detail. Other stuff you can't do. You can't get repeated past multiplayer season rewards. You can't get early multiplayer season rewards in a way that you want to. Nothing to get through the Phantom Zone supernaturally quickly, but you can get through it really fast if you just have the right strategy and guys for it. And there is nothing that lets you skip watching the free energy video but still get the energy for it. You gotta either watch it or not get it at all.
Right. So, quick recap of the working glitches. Challenge reset method has been confirmed to be working on the current Red Sun Green Lantern challenge. If you're on Android 10, we've got a comment cut and pasted from viewer Tammy Kakde that goes into how you can avoid re-downloading more than a gig of data by, instead of deleting a file, moving it around and then moving it back when you're done doing the bits and pieces of the challenge reset.
Yeah, and we can't really confirm on any other versions of Android except Android 9, which is the one that we got.
And we've got a comment that cut and pasted from reviewer Jonathan Yang on how to reset challenge in iOS. But I've also seen a lot of comments recently from viewers saying it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So we'd like a few more comments to confirm it before we start making an adjustment in some of that the documentation we've got in the description.
Mm-hmm. Breakthrough glitch to let you play it repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is good for resetting your rewards when you don't like them on anything that's offline, so not Phantom Zone. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. Just remember when you're done getting your energy to set your clock back to normal before you start messing around and playing the game again like normal. And then last but not least, the promotion glitch, promoting characters that are still locked in your store, hasn't had the right conditions for forever. And so we don't know if it works or not. It's in limbo, but we're keeping it here on a technicality.
Because we're pedants.
Yeah. So there we go. That's it for this week for the content. But the most important part of this week is our huge thank you to all the lovely folks who support us on Patreon. So that's Victor Gomez, Consul Peasant, and Edwoon at the top tier Last Word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, and Eddydoo at the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer 241, Pavu RS, Gavin, Mallott, and Isfar E. at the gratitude level. Thanks so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.